As internet horror stories continue to grow in popularity, and YouTube becomes cluttered with innumerable videos of people reading them, even professional filmmakers are answering the siren song of adapting the stories into short films. It has reached a point where considerable technical skill and creativity goes into some of them. So here are the 10 creepypastas adapted into even creepier short films. Number 10, White with Red. We talked about this story under its alternative name, titled The Keyhole. A man rents a hotel room and is told not to look into the room next to his. When he does, all he sees is red. He thinks that someone must have put a red dress across the keyhole. In truth, he's looking at the horribly bloodshot eye of a long-dead hotel guest. Brandon Christensen's short film adaptation of this story is really exceptional. Robert Scott Howard establishes a character with very little dialogue, and Rusty Meyers as the clerk is colorful without being a cartoon character. The effects work on the inhabitant of the room with no number is terrific, producing one of film history's creepiest blinks. Also, the movie has a wiry little joke about pretzels that is played stubbly enough that it doesn't distract from the story with the unnerving atmosphere. Coming in at number 9 is The Expressionless. This short story by Tom Lever was shared and believed by enough people on the internet that it needed to be debunked by the famous website Snopes.com. It tells of how in 1972 Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles was visited by a very strange being, a woman with a face as blank as mannequins wandered into a hospital. Her gown was soaked with the blood of a kitten, which still sat in her mouth. Just needed time to breathe. Gross. The hospital staff took her into a room for treatment. After cooperating briefly, she lashed out at them. When security personnel arrived, she bit the first guard in the jugular, right here. The doctor on hand asked what she was. She smiled, walked over, leaned over the cowering doctor and said, "I am God." She subsequently disappeared and became known as Expressionless. This hardly seems like the sort of story the owners of the YouTube channel Totally Sketch would be able to adapt competently. The channel's most popular videos are broad comedies based mainly around cleavage. Its guest stars have included celebrities like Shane Dawson and Jem Marbles, who are about the least scary people imaginable. And when the channel attempted a feature-length horror film, it produces the widely revealed 2013 movie Smiley. For all that, The Expressionless works very well as a horror short. The production values are great for the small scale of the work, and director Michael Gallagher stages the story superbly. Naturally, the real standout is Dana Thompson as the title of character. She doesn't look like a mannequin, but her performance is terrifying enough in its own way during the more subdued scenes. Indeed, when she begins killing, if anything, to step down in terms of scariness. Number 8, Sonic.exe. Sonic.exe is perhaps the worst creepypasta to ever become popular. The plot: Tom receives a CD from his missing best friend, with a note telling him to destroy it immediately instead of playing it. Tom puts the disc in his computer to play the game, and finds it has been modded in scary ways. The character Sonic is evil in the game and has black bleeding eyes. Sonic effortlessly kills all the characters Tom uses in the game, then threatens the player in his nightmares. The story ends with Tom playing the same game again, hearing a voice behind him, and then turning to find a Sonic doll. Despite attracting enough fans to get thousands of pieces of fan art to motivate someone to modify the original Sonic game as described in the story, Sonic.exe is more laughable than scary. Beyond Tom's fear of a small doll and his stupid decision to play the game despite his missing friend's warning, the 8-bit laugh of a character named Kefka is described as scary. Here's the sound. Judge for yourself. I'm not going to do it. Sorry about that. You can go look for the sound as yourself on www.lizverse.com. The top 10 scariest creepypastas. Top 10 creepypastas adaptate movie adaptations. Adapted into movies. Whatever. The author also has a weird obsession with stating each action's duration. The author also had a weird obsession with stating each action's duration with ridiculous precision. Example, I sat there for maybe 25 seconds. As a result, creepypasta.wikia, the site that made the story popular, eventually listed it as troll pasta. This meant it was so badly written that it was likely made so on purpose. But the author objected strongly to this label, indicating that he meant it sincerely. Jake Pound's ability to convert this story into a successful short film is borderline miraculous. Jake is a competent enough actor and sensible enough not to oversell the emotions of playing the game, and his use of sound is very effective, even if he keeps some of the less effective choices, such as the Kefka Lab. His best decision is definitely to change the ridiculous ending so that the audience isn't forced to try to find a little doll scary. Number 7, 2 a.m., The Smiling Man. Originally a story from Reddit's No Sleep section, The Smiling Man has become an urban legend of unusual simplicity. As we described before, the supposedly true story tells of a man walking down a street seeing someone doing an odd dance with a big smile on his face. The crazy person runs up to him and looks at him in a manner which is ambiguously threatening. Author Blue Title only claims that he looked completely insane, making it unclear whether he was any danger at all. Probably the greatest strength of Michael Evans' adaptation of The Smiling Man is that it features no dialogue, which gained it significantly more of an international audience by removing language barriers. It's probably no coincidence that it's currently by far the most viewed video on this list. Another nice touch is how Sean Simon initially reacts to seeing The Smiling Man by chuckling at him. The filmmakers were well aware of how this movie skirts the line between horror and a comedy and acknowledge it rather than try too hard to make the movie scary. Blue Title seemed very satisfied with it despite some nitpicks about its accuracy. Number 6, Five Nights at Freddy. Scott Cawthon's indie horror game, Five Nights at Freddy's, features a security guard who must check monitors and doors to keep himself from being killed by roving animatronic characters. Though critics found the story behind the game convoluted, the character design and scares more than make up for that as far as the public was concerned. It's especially big success considering that Cawthon's previous games were all fairly minor Christian games. Supposedly this hit game was inspired by a criticism of one of his early games that the 3D characters all looked like creepy animatronics. Jake Pound returns here for another short film, which is much shorter than his Sonic.exe adaptation. His movie is about a man playing the game rather than a security guard. Many more people have played the game than be a security guard in circumstances the least bit similar to those in it. The image of Freddy Fazbear glowing in the background is perfectly done, looking disasterated but detailed. Since Pound uses a bit of a game footage for the final shot, that part doesn't look so realistic, but is still an effective jump scare. Number 5, The Midnight Man Ritual. The Midnight Man Ritual is a ceremony performed in deepest night to summon a humanoid being. The summoners must then try to survive the being's efforts to catch them and torture them to death. The ritual steps: write your full name on a piece of paper, bleed a drop of blood onto it, turn out the lights, put the piece of paper on the front door, light a candle, and then create a circle of salt. You must now avoid the Midnight Man if he manifests in your home, and stay out of the circle until 3:3:3 in the morning, making sure the candle doesn't go out for more than 10 seconds. 8-Bit Massacre's video of someone deciding to test the rituals will stand out in several ways. It's the only found footage horror movie on this list. While the main character doesn't become very sympathetic, he's still very believable as the kind of person who would do this. The Midnight Man himself is impeccable, both when he stalks the hero and during the jump scare at the end. The audio during this appearance was especially well done. Number 4. The Girl in the Photograph. This is one of the more really old amusing creepypastas on the net, while still having a creepy premise. A student named Tom finds a photograph of the most beautiful girl that he's ever seen, and she's holding up 2 fingers, flashing a peace sign. Wait, I forget. He asks if anyone knows who the person in the photo is, and no one has any idea. That night, his heart's giggling and tapping on his window, and goes out to investigate. No one's there. The next night, it happens again. He wants more followers, the sound of giggling bringing the photo with him. A passing car hits him, killing him. The driver gets out and sees the photograph. The girl in it is now holding up 3 fingers. John Chris Lopez adaptation is shot almost entirely in black and white, with few exceptions, such as the petals of some flowers. The film improves on the story a bit. Tom in the short film is a photographer who finds the photo more suspiciously. The photo's in a frame this time. He seems a woman is vicious instead of just hearing tapping and giggling, making his willingness to walk out of the street a bit more sensible. Number 3. Stitches. This story predated the whole concept of creepypasta, with Snopes claiming that it dates back to at least 2004. A babysitter is at an unfamiliar home. She notices odd inconsistencies around the house, like water left running on its own. Also, there's a life-size statue or mannequin in the house, either of a clown or an angel. On the phone with the homeowners, she asks about the weird statue. The homeowners tell her that they don't have one. The UK film team Bloody Cuts made a really exceptional adaptation of this story, starring Bethany Hanks as the babysitter and Paul Ewan as the statue. Even though by now everyone has heard some versions of this story and knows where it's going, the production values make this pretty unique experience. Just the shots of odd trinkets and toys scattered around the house are disgusting. The lighting and camera work are particularly strong. Number 2, The Rake. The Rake is believed to have been conceived in 2005 on the site 4chan and then codified in 2006 on a blog for somethingawful.com by Brian Somerville. It's an emancipated-looking humanoid monster with long claws that sneaks into people's homes and does various things to them. Sometimes he's violent and sometimes he is deadly. Other times he's merely threatening. For hundreds of years, he has appeared around the world, numerous times on video. Go for Broke Pictures. The makers of the aforementioned 2AM have gone a more violent route than most with their versions of Rake. Dr. Shun Astubo's creature is a powerful predator with hollow eyes, sockets, instead of a sneaking, sickly creep. Before we even see the monster, it's already killed a father character. While the majority of the story centers on the surviving family members trying to avoid the beast, the last scenes are wonderfully made pieces of pseudo-historical events in the monster. The photos of the apparent victim from above and the crime scene investigations are particularly creepy. So we've seen The Rake, white with red, the expressionless 6 a.m. Sonic.exe. We've seen a lot, and here is the moment you've all been waiting for. Coming in at number 1 is Slenderman. Slenderman is still the most popular creepypasta character despite numerous parodies and a considerable degree of saturation. He is also one of the few horror figures to inspire actual murder, unsuccessfully so far. At some point, creator Eric Knudsen will undoubtedly allow a commercial motion picture or other production to be released. Until then, we have numerous videos and games to occupy our time. Most videos about Slenderman are made to be unpolished, vague, and amateur as possible to ape the style of virtual series. Marble Hornets. What? To aid the style of the rival series Marble Hornets, which made Slenderman popular, Ceramic Pictures went in a completely different direction. Their film about Slenderman is slick and professional. Their story is about a Confederate soldier from the American Civil War trying to protect his little sister, Emily, from the mysterious being. The actor in this film is so good that Slenderman himself isn't even the scariest part. Scarier is Daniela Leon's portrayal of Emily after she falls under the unknowable predator's influence. And here's a bonus. Creepypasta. An urban legend about the Pokemon game, similar to the Lavender Town Syndrome, tells a particular dark, bootlegged version of Pokemon. A man receives a black cartridge and plays as a ghost character, who can kill all enemies instantly with a move called Curse. Then he begins to kill all the human characters with it until the world is emptied out. He considers that maybe the bootleg modified version of the game was meant to be a lesson in mortality for children. Pokemon Black became the main focus of one of the best parodies Creepypasta has ever received, a video by Ridgway Films entitled Creepypasta. Despite broad humor, a cereal box full of game cartridges is the first sign of the game's unnatural power. And some extremely campy acting, the film includes some surprisingly creepy moments. The shot of the protagonist surrounded by Pokemon ghosts is surprisingly horrific for how absurd it is. Even people who don't find internet stories about video games interesting at all should give it a look. I want to thank you all for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, you know what to do, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.